Welcome to F123 Time Trial, the home of esports sweats, rage, and world records. However, I stink at the F1 game, so I won't be setting any Jarno Opmeer level world records anytime soon. So for this video, I'm going to try and set a supercar world record around the circuit of the Americas with a Ferrari F8 Tributo. The current world record is set by Paps P Chicken 3, who set a 2 minute 18.852, and this put him 49th in the world. And by the way, if you're wondering why I'm not going for the full supercar world record, it's because it's genuinely impossible. So for my first lap, as it usually is for time trial challenges, it was pretty rubbish. I haven't actually driven a supercar on F123 since my safety car world record video, and this was over 2 months ago, so getting used to these cars again definitely took a while. Probably the main thing I noticed almost straight away was how cautious I'd have to be on the throttle, because as you can see, I was literally drifting everywhere. However, I wasn't too worried about this because this was my first time driving a supercar with no traction control, and although it would require some patience, the reward would definitely be worth it. So we're quickly going to skip through the first lap. However, my aim was to be within 10 seconds of the world record holder, but as you're about to find out, the plan didn't exactly work out how I wanted it to. And to be honest, my first sector wasn't actually that bad, because most of my big mistakes came in the second and final sector. Coming up to the end of the back straight here, and I just broke way too late, which definitely cost me well over 1.5 seconds. The good thing was that I knew on my next improvement I'd be making so much progress, but for now I was focused on this lap, and I was about 18 seconds up on the default Ghost. And I thought that if I could be around 25 seconds up by the end of the lap, it would definitely be a pretty solid first lap. My exit out of turn 15 was pretty average, however going through turn 16 to 18, I've got absolutely no idea how I didn't invalidate. Now I was coming up to the final 2 corners, and for a first lap, as I said before, I just wanted to be within 10 seconds of the world record. I almost lost the car on the exit of the penultimate corner, however I had just crossed being 25 seconds up on the default Ghost. My run through the final corner was pretty average, and in the end my lap time was a 1 minute 30.701. I was just under 12 seconds away from the world record, and this wasn't ideal, but I knew there was so much time to find. And I made loads of improvements on the very next lap. Through turn 1 I gained half a second, and I'm quickly going to take you through the whole of this lap as I was making progress literally everywhere. And although my first sector wasn't perfect, I still managed to gain half a second, so now it was 1 second up to my delta with 2 sectors to go. Annoyingly though, I lost all of this progress starting the second sector, however I did gain it back and more on the exit of turn 11, and this meant that I was improving the whole way down the back straight, which was massive. And then I made even more progress. On the exit of turn 15 I gained 7 tenths and another half a second through turn 16 to 18. And then I gained another half a second through the penultimate corner, and then through the final corner I gained another 3 tenths. In the end, my improvement brought me under 8.5 seconds of the world record, and I was delighted with my progress. 4 laps later I made another improvement, however I don't think the game had saved my previous improvement because it was still registering as 2 minute 30, and so was the delta. Anyway, I actually improved by just under a second, and I was now within 8 seconds of the goal. So it took me some time to get to my next improvement, but on lap 9 here I figured out that if I took a wide entry to the final corner I gained 3 tenths on the straight. This was so useful throughout the whole of the challenge. Coming up to turn 1 I decided to take a slightly different line, which meant that I got a much better exit, and I was now a second up to my delta. And through the rest of the lap nothing changed. I probably had a worse entry to the final corner but a better exit, which brought me within 7 seconds of the world record. And after this I couldn't stop making progress. Just 2 laps later I improved again, and coming into the final corner I was 8 tenths up, but I got a much better exit, and by the finish line I'd improved by 1.3 seconds. This put me just over 5 seconds away from the world record after just 12 laps, and I was feeling really confident that I could beat the world record if I just sorted out some of my minor mistakes. 5 laps later and I was once again improving. My line through the penultimate corner was amazing, and my exit was probably just as good, which brought me to 9 tenths up. Coming into the final corner I knew this gain would be hard to maintain, and sadly I just turned in a little bit too early, and I had to hesitate so much on the entry and then on the throttle. In the end I improved by half a second, and I was just over 4.5 seconds away from the world record. So for day 2 I had one simple goal, and that was to get within 2.5 seconds of the world record. Annoyingly I didn't have much time to film throughout day 2, so I knew I probably had about 20 laps to half the deficit to the world record. And day 2 started really well. Just 5 laps in I made another improvement, and as you just saw through the final corner there was so much time to find. At this point I was feeling so confident that I could break the world record. And then on the very next lap I made another improvement. I decided to follow the world record holders line through turn 15, and it gained me 3 tenths. This improvement fluctuated until the final corner, where I was back to 3 tenths up with time to find, specifically on the exit. Going through the final corner I turned in at a much better time, and then I had a super clean exit which gained me well over 7 tenths. So this lap was pretty good, but as you can see I did set a red sector 1, so I was confident that I could gain even more time through the rest of the laps that I had left on day 2. And halfway through day 2 I drove a lap that made me realise that the challenge was actually possible. Coming through turn 1 I took a much better line than my previous personal best and gained a full second. So we're quickly going to go through the first sector, but the most important thing was that I maintained my gain. And then this happened. I finished the first sector and I was faster than Paps P Chicken 3, and this sector was such a crucial part of the challenge. Throughout the rest of the lap I lost a couple temps, however I just wasn't that bothered. In the end I improved by 6 tenths, which moved me just over 2.5 seconds away from the world record. However, I didn't know that my unreal first sector would really hold me back from making any improvements for the rest of day 2. I think the problem was that I was desperate to try and keep up my first sector, and honestly I just could not stay under the limit. I was invalidating and spinning everywhere, which was pretty annoying. However, for day 3 I knew that if I could find the limit I'd find loads of time. By the way, I'm sorry about this, I stupidly forgot to record my next improvement, but it was only 400ths of a second. I was now under 2.3 seconds away from the world record and I was about to set an unreal lap. So I'm on lap 5 of day 3 here, and coming through this S's section I just took every corner absolutely perfectly. I think I figured out that if I could slightly drift the car through the corners whilst maintaining good minimum speed, I'd make massive progress, and that's exactly what I did. I finished the first sector with an 8.5 tenth gain, and I'd given myself a massive 5.5 tenth gap to the world record holder, and I thought that I was about to break the world record. I lost about 3 tenths through sector 2, however leaving turn 13 I got a much better exit, and this brought me back up to 8.5 tenths positive on the delta. And then going through turn 14 I just got so much closer to the apex, and I brought the gap all the way up to 1.3 seconds. I made sure that on the entry to turn 15 I followed the world record holder's line, however I lost a couple attempts on the exit, which wasn't ideal, but at least I knew that there was loads of time to find on my next improvement. Coming into the final corner I knew that I could find even more time on the exit. I didn't exactly have a perfect exit, however I didn't have to worry about invalidating, and this gave me 4 tenths, and I was now within 7 tenths of the world record. After this lap I straight away had a look at the leaderboard, and this put me 4th in the world for this supercar, and I was now so motivated to beat the world record. However I knew that this would have to be a pretty special lap. She's got a lion in her heart, a fire in her soul. He's got a beast in his belly that's so hard to control. Cause they've taken too much hits, they can blow, blow. Now light him and stand back, watch him explode, 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 explode. When you've been fighting for it all your life, you've been struggling to me. I had done it. Honestly, that lap was absolutely perfect, and I smashed the world record by almost 6 tenths. Thank you all for watching, and go and check out my safety car world record video.